mindfulness through meditation and just mindfulness in my life in general to relax, because a couple months ago I was sick, as most of you know. I had mono, and I realized that it was because I was like overworking myself and doing too much, and so I thought it would be a good idea to, for my project, just relax and try to be more in touch with myself and being more aware of other people around me instead of just constantly going and working. So first I'm just going to throw out a list of things that I did over the 3 weeks. My main thing was I took a 6-week-long Basics of Mindfulness Meditation class at InsightLA, which is on 14th and Olympic, so it was really convenient. And so through that I started like a daily or like every other day meditation practice where I did about, well, I started with like 5 minutes, and then I went to like 10 minutes a day, and then every couple days I would do like a lot longer ones, like 25 to 30 minutes. I also did some hiking with meditation, so I learned how to do walking meditation, so I did some hikes with my friends just in like the Palisades area, and then when we got to the top we would just sit and meditate for a while. And then I also visited the Self-Realization Fellowship in the Palisades on Sunset, which I had never been to before, and that was really beautiful and nice, a nice place to meditate. And then I'd say the highlight of the whole project for me was through my teacher at InsightLA, I found out about this 3-day-long meditation retreat that was actually taught by his teacher, who is a formally trained Buddhist monk who trained for 13 years in Tibet, and once he, I guess, finished his training, he said, I can go out and teach the world what I've learned in a couple days, so they don't have to go through 13 years when you're a child. And so that was incredible. I only ended up going for one of the days, but it was a whole day-long program, and we did a lot of meditation, guided meditation, and this guy was just brilliant. He was so inspirational and so calm and wise, and he gave us some teachings, and his main line throughout the whole thing was, "You are the eternal Buddha." And he didn't really explain it very well. He just said, keep sitting and keep practicing, and someday you'll understand what I mean by "you are the eternal Buddha." And that was, after that experience, that was kind of like the turning point where I realized that that this project is kind of just a starting point for me to open my eyes. It opened my eyes and helped me realize that I wanted to keep practicing meditation and studying Buddhism. Especially because when I went to the retreat, I was like the only beginner, and I could tell because everyone else, I don't know, they just knew what to do all the time. And at the end of one of the meditations, he started chanting this chant, and not in English, and everyone knew the words, and everyone started chanting it really, really loud for a really long time. And I just sat there, and I just didn't know what to do, and I couldn't pick up on the words, and I couldn't tell if it was like a couple lines or if it was like this super long thing. And then at the end, the woman in charge of the center gave me a card that had the words on it, and I realized it was only like 3 lines long. And so the next time we did it, I learned it, and it was really great. And I don't exactly remember it, but it was really cool to become a part of that group where everyone was so connected, and it's amazing when everyone is chanting. It just sounds really cool. And so the main concept that I learned and that I took away from this is the concept of metta, which is loving kindness and basically compassion for others and compassion for yourself. And so I learned in my class and through the retreat and through the books that I read, like this book, Pieces Every Step, which Tom gave me, which inspired me to start this project, that we have to, we need to try to exude compassion for ourselves first, so that we can understand, respect ourselves, and then slowly extend to having compassion for all beings everywhere in the world without exception. And so I learned in my class this metta mantra which I'll do with you guys later, where you kind of practice loving kindness for yourself, for a person you love, for a neutral person, for someone you consider an enemy, and then finally for all beings everywhere without exception. So now I think I'm going to try to do a guided meditation with you guys, and it's a small group, so it won't be that hard. Can you pass me the phone right there, please? I don't have like a bell or gong or anything, so I'm just going to put on a phone, a phone sound to start. And so I'll guide you through it, and if you've never done meditation before, just try to listen to what I'm saying. And you can sit, if you're not comfortable sitting on the ground, you can sit up on the couch or on one of the chairs. So I'll start the time or the sound, and you'll close your eyes and sit up straight, and I'll help guide you through what you should be feeling and thinking about. Okay. I'm going to see if it make sure it's loud enough. It's very quiet. Okay. So you can close your eyes and sit up straight with your shoulders relaxed and back. And as my teacher said in the first class, think of your spine as a stack of coins balanced super straight, not leaning or falling over. And so as you sit, focus on your breath and think about, try to locate one point where your breath is going through your body. It can be in your deep stomach, as you can breathe through the deepest part of your stomach, or you can focus on the point right below your nostrils where the air enters, and you can feel it softly going out of your nose. So just focus on your breathing. And so after breathing and focusing on where your breath is for a while, you might find that thoughts are going through your head, or images are coming up, or feelings and emotions might be distracting you. But try to be mindful of these feelings or images, and try not to push them away. Try to view them as if they're clouds. You see them and they gradually float in. And just be mindful of them in your mind. And be mindful of them as they float out and slowly disappear. And keep in mind that the thoughts are just what your mind wants to do, so there's no need to judge what you're thinking or feeling. Just be mindful of it. And be mindful of the feeling, the sounds and sensations outside of your body, the traffic going by, or how your body feels sitting on the ground. And so try to be mindful of both what's going on inside of you and outside. And as you're being mindful of the sensations in your body, if if you're feeling any discomfort in your legs, just notice that. And if you feel the need, you can always adjust. And now, you can keep your mind on your breath, return your mind to your breath, and if you want, you can follow me. I'm going to lead you through the metta mantra, which I often go through as I meditate. So I'll just say a phrase, and you can, in your head, to yourself, repeat after me. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I live with ease and joy. May all of us in this room be happy. May all of us in this room be healthy. May all of us in this room be safe. May all of us in this room live with ease and joy. May my family and friends be happy. May my family and friends be healthy. May my family and friends be safe. May my family and friends live with ease and joy. May all beings everywhere, without exception, be happy. May all beings everywhere, without exception, be healthy. May all beings everywhere, without exception, be safe. May all beings everywhere, without exception, live with ease and joy. So normally when I practice, I go through this mantra each group or each being a couple times before I move on to the next one. So now you can either keep going through the metta in your head, or just return to focusing on your breathing or the sensations of your body or the sounds outside. Now you can slowly bring your consciousness back into the room. Open your eyes. Okay. So that was a really short one, but that's kind of just a taste of what I try to do every day, and I try to get some of my friends to do it, and they were into it too. So now I'm going to just go into more detail about specific things that I learned, especially from this book, which is one of many that I read, over the last couple of weeks. And I chose to just give excerpts from this because it's the book that Tom gave me that, as I said earlier, inspired me to start this project. So the first thing that I found really interesting in this book is a chapter called Breathing Room, where the author recommends that we set up a small room in our homes and call it a breathing room, where we can be alone and practice just breathing and smiling, at least in difficult moments. And this little room should be respected and not violated by anger, shouting, or things like that. And so he says, when there's tension in the house or in the family, or when a child is about to be shouted at, he or she can take refuge in that room and just relax and meditate. And when the child is in there, the child can hit a bell or a gong, and the rest of the family in the house will hear that bell. And even if they're just going about cutting carrots or washing dishes, they can hear that bell and know that the child is trying to be peaceful. And he suggests that the family make the breathing room decorated simply with flowers and a small bed, a small bell with a beautiful sound to remind us of our true nature. So I thought this was a really good idea. Unfortunately, my house is too small to have a whole separate room just for this, but it's a good idea that you might want to bring to your family and try. And another small thing that I learned in here, I've been actually trying out with my friends, and my friends are, I think, generally pretty compassionate already and open to, feeling their emotions and sharing with each other. But the other day, I guess I was hanging out with like a group of 15 or 20 of my friends, and I tried out this hugging meditation where he says, hug your mother or a child or your husband or wife or any of your friends or anyone in the world. And when you hug them, instead of just thinking of other things and hugging them really fast and looking at something else, try to hug them and feel really in that moment and breathe in and out 3 times before you let go. And so I've done that. I've tried to do that every time I've hugged someone since I read this. And it feels amazing. It feels really, really good. And it's interesting because I've met a lot of new people in the last couple of days also. And so sometimes I'm like, I'm warning you, I'm going to give you a long hug right now. And usually when I hug them tightly and breathe and really feel that intention of compassion towards them, it isn't awkward or anything. So you can try that. And to finish up, I'm going to read a story that demonstrates the concept of interbeing, which Thich Nhat Hanh, the author of this book, finishes up with. And he kind of created this word interbeing, which he says it's not in the dictionary, but it should be. And it's the concept that everything is connected, and even inanimate objects are connected to humans. And so I'm going to read this chapter in the book called The River. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful river finding her way among the hills, forests, and meadows. She began by being a joyful stream of water, a spring always dancing and singing as she ran down from the top of the mountain. She was very young at the time, and as she came to the lowland, she slowed down. She was thinking about going to the ocean. As she grew up, she learned to look beautiful, winding gracefully among the hills and meadows. One day, she noticed the clouds within herself, clouds of all sorts of colors and forms. She did nothing during these days but chase after clouds. She wanted to possess a cloud, to have one for herself. But clouds float and travel in the sky, and they are always changing their form. Sometimes they look like an overcoat, sometimes like a horse. Because of the nature of impermanence within the clouds, the river suffered very much. Her pleasure, her joy had become just chasing after clouds, one after another. But despair, anger, and hatred became her life. Then one day, a strong wind came and blew away all the clouds in the sky. The sky became completely empty. Our river thought that life was not worth living. for there were no longer any clouds to chase after. She wanted to die. If there are no clouds, why should I be alive? But how can a river take her own life? That night, the river had the opportunity to go back to herself for the first time. She had been running for so long after something outside of herself that she had never seen herself. That night was the first opportunity for her to hear her own crying, the sounds of water crashing against the banks of the river. Because she was able to listen to her own voice, she discovered something quite important. She realized that what she had been looking for was already in herself. She found out that clouds are nothing but water. Clouds are born from water and will return to water. And she found out that she herself is also water. The next morning, when the sun was in the sky, she discovered something beautiful. She saw the blue sky for the first time. She had never noticed it before. She had only been interested in clouds, and she had missed seeing the sky, which is the home of all the clouds. Clouds are impermanent, but the sky is stable. She realized that the immense sky had been within her heart since the very beginning. This great insight brought her peace and happiness. As she saw the vast, wonderful blue sky, she knew that her peace and stability would never be lost again. So, I've gone over time, but that's pretty much the story that really touched me. And in conclusion, I guess, as I said earlier, I really want to continue this practice, and I've seen this not as a complete transformation where at the end I'm completely recovered from my illness or, whatever. So it's more of a beginning.